Oh, hey everybody, welcome into the Wolfman Gardening channel. I bet you're excited today. We're going to plant some of these tomatoes. I'm excited, so I know you have to be excited. I want to give you two ways that you can plant these tomato plants and get the best root growth to have bountiful, awesome tomatoes. All right, let's go ahead and put this up and let's get started. Hey everybody, here we are. We're ready to plant, and we're ready to plant our tomatoes. You'll know some of these got a little bit tall. Ideally, we'd like to plant these when they're about this tall. But since we had a different growing situation in the grow room with better lights, these things got a little bit leggy. They got a little bit taller than what we needed to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to bury these to about right here. So all of this right here, wherever the stem touches ground, it's going to grow roots. And then you have a massive root system at the end of the season. So all we're going to do on this, we're going to take little cutters, knife, whatever you want to do. And I'll just show you right here. Well, it'd be better if you got a little bit better of a little better tool. These are old. They're about on their last year. And like I said, we are just going to trim all these bottom leaves. You pinch these two at the bottom off here. It looks like a pretty sad, pathetic stem tomato plant, right? Now then, we're gonna lay it on its side here. Now then, when we dig a hole, we're gonna dig a hole big enough for all of this to fit in. Another thing I want to mention, you know, if you followed any of my videos, you know that I have to mark out everything, because there's nothing worse than going through your garden once everything gets up about this tall, everything starts growing good. Maybe your label's washed off. Maybe you have a label that you stick in the ground and and now it's washed off. And you're sitting there to say, what kind of tomato you got growing there? And then, I think it's a Cherokee Purple. No, maybe it's a Mr. Stripey. I don't remember. So best thing to do is label it out here. Everywhere we have a panel, we're going to plant 3 tomatoes on each one of these panels down through here. And on each one, I'm going to label which one is actually at that spot. That way I can go back later on and I don't forget. Let's get to digging. I would recommend, if you haven't amended your soil yet, go ahead and put some organic fertilizer, something that is bountiful for the roots. And then you can come back in later and fertilize. You'll see our little drip system here. We're going to run a liquid to fertilizer through this, let it soak down really good, so we should be fine. All right, now that we got our hole, we're going to get a good root system on it, and we're going to bury this down in here. Cover it back up. Now you've got these small ones. This is a black cherry tomato, and you can see the stem size. It's not real big compared to the chocolate striped tomato, which has a bigger base. They're genetically designed this way because this is a much bigger tomato, so the stem's going to grow naturally bigger in order to hold these up. These tomatoes are a little bit bigger than baseball size compared to the little cherry tomatoes. You can see the difference too. And these grow long and lanky. These a little more short and fat start out. So we're going to show you a way to get a bigger root system out of these tomatoes. And that is, we're going to lay them in sideways and angle them up. Anywhere this stem touches the soil, it's going to grow roots, which means it's going to be it's going to get more nutrients, more water, which will give you a better harvest. say you have an area where you can't dig real deep. You can't dig just real deep because the soil won't allow you to. Say you don't have the money to actually amend the soil. You take it like this here, and this is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of money. See how tough? Say you got real tough soil down here, you can't get it to grow, or you can't get it to go real deep. You'll take this here. Now you want to remove all these leaves. You don't want any of these leaves to be buried under the ground. Now then, we're going to take this long stem here, and since we want it to grow on this edge here, dig a little more out there, a little more out right there. Okay, now then we're going to take, which has already got a really good root system here, we're going to lay this down like so, and you're going to pull this up. Now you got to be careful, you don't want to break it. And now you'll never know that the roots start here and go all the way across the nut. So all the way through here, it's going to grow a root system that will be more than enough. And now then your stem's not sticking up here to where the wind can snap it over. Everywhere that one of these touch stems. All right, let's take a close look here. You can see this here. This right here was a regular root system, and we buried one. This is one that I forgot to protect, and the deer got to it. But you'll see all these little deals here. All this was part of the stem. This is all the root growth that this plant got from growing from the stem. So I buried it pretty good ways. I think I buried it up to about right here. And before the deer managed to eat the whole thing out. Anyway, so everywhere that stem touches, you get a nice root system. So the deeper you can bury them, the better off you'll be. If you may notice, we don't have our drip system laid out right through here yet, but we got our main line up here we'll tie into. We'll run out here, cap it off, and we will put our drip irrigation at each spot we put a plant. I like to wait till I get all my plants planted out, minus the ones we had up here, because I was doing a video on drip irrigation up here, so that's why those are already in. But for the most part, I like to run my drip lines after I've already placed my tomatoes in my plants wherever I want them. That way, because I may change my mind. I may want to put and add one more or add one less. And in order to do that, then we may have to change our drip system. So that's why we do it at the very end. You can tell the soil over here is a little bit better. This up here hasn't been worked as much as what this down here has been. So you get this soil, looks fairly good down here. It's not near as clumpy and clay as that up there, which over the next 2 or 3 years, I keep mending the soil just a little bit, adding a little bit of sand, adding some compost, until a few years from now, we'll have this exactly like we want it. All right, well, we managed to get 10 varieties planted today. We've still got 11 more varieties to go. We're gonna give them a little bit of organic fertilizer, and hopefully we'll be able to have no more frost. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like, comment, share the video, think about subscribing, hit that bell notification, and like always, keep her growing.